Namaste and welcome to another exciting tutorial on Namaste SAP. If you are someone who has just started your career in SAP journey, or maybe you are trying to understand how data is structured in SAP, then today's video is just for you. In today's session, we are going to learn about two very important building blocks in SAP data dictionary. One is domain, another is data element. Guys, think of these as the foundation stones behind every table and field in SAP. They decide what kind of data you can store, how it looks like, and what rules it must follow. We will break everything down in a simple way with easy examples, short comparison, and real time uses. By the end of this video, you will clearly understand what is a domain, what is a data element, how they are different, and the most important, why they are so important in SAP development. So sit back, relax, and let's start exploring the world of SAP data element and domain. All your Namaste. Agenda for today's video is we will learn what is a domain data element, what is the difference between them, what is its importance, purpose, real time example, and lastly we'll end up with some interview questions. So, what is a domain? So, it defines technical attributes like type, length, range. It is used for usability, data consistency. So, domain is just like a technical rule book for a field. It controls how the data is stored, what kind of data it is, how long, what it has decimals, and even how it should be displayed. Let's break it down one by one. So this snippet I have captured when we create a domain. So these are the information which we actually feed in, where we give a domain name, a short description, and there are certain attributes like properties, definition, and there are three types: properties, definition, and value range. And within definition, there is information like data type, the type of data, number of characters, decimals, output characteristics is there like output length, conversion routine, signs, and lowercase. And then what is the value range and property? So I'll explain each and every properties one by one. So here I have consolidated all the properties that we feed in while we create our domain. So not all the information are mandatory, like not all the properties are mandatory for creating a domain, but we should have knowledge what are all these properties meant for, why it is important, because during interviews some interviewer do ask tricky questions, so we must be aware of each and everything. So to start with, a data type. So data type tells the type of data the field can store. Example, character. For example, char stands for character, numc stands for numeric, uh, but it can store character as well. Example, postal code. Another is dates, dats, which is not mentioned over here, but there is another data type called dates, dats. It stores date, basically date. There is curr, stores currency. Let me go back. Sorry. Okay. Another is tims, to store time. These are the data type which we can store basically. So you can think of it like a container, like choosing the container of your data. So next thing is number of character. It is very much clear like how many character the field can store without formatting symbols like commas or dots. For example, if a field has 10 character, it can store something like maybe INDIA 2025. So INDIA and 2025. Yeah, total 10 character. Simple. Another is a decimal place, like how many digits can appear after the decimal point. After the decimal point, guys, remember that. Used only with types like curr, currency, quantity, and decimal. For a price field, like suppose there's a price field called 123.45. Okay, 123 rupees 45 paise. So maybe dot 45, so that decimal 45 is that two decimal places, we can mention two over there. There is the fourth one is the output length. Output length defines the total visible length of the field on screen, includes commas, dots, currency symbols, etc. For example, if amount is 10 character, if amount field is 10 character plus it can store currency symbol, the output length might be 12. So output length may be 12 in that case, including the currency symbol. So it is actually the total visible length, and obviously it is calculated automatically. That's why it's written auto calculated. So it is also an optional thing. We may or may not define it. It gets pre-populated automatically. Or if you wanted to specify it, you can specify it. It is just the visible length. Like when you try to enter any data, so there is a visible length that will get displayed. Suppose you have another example. If I can tell you, if a field, if you have specified of length of 3 and you are entering something of more than that, suppose you have the visible length is 10 and you are entering data of around 30 characters, so only 10 character length will get displayed, remaining 20 will get truncated. It will not show, it will not show basically. Another very important thing is conversion routine. This is used to convert values between display format, in a sense like what user sees, and internal format, means how SAP stored it. Okay. For example, input on the screen, when we input any value, suppose we are inputting a date. Okay, the date we are inputting, it is suppose dd.mm.yyyyy. Okay. Now SAP stores that date in yyyymmdd format basically. uh, there are few function modules that handle this conversion, like conversion underscore exit, and there's a conversion exit name underscore input, and another is conversion underscore exit, then it's name underscore output. So these are the function module which handles this thing. I'll show you where all this conversion routine is mentioned in a domain. These are built in SAP function. You don't need to worry about as a user. Just know the format values for a display and storage. So the eighth one is sign, sign. So it means like whether the field can store negative values. For example, if this is set as true or checked, then values like negative 1 lakh, 1000, negative values can be accepted. As simple as that. If you have unchecked that, then you cannot store negative values for a field. Then ninth one is a lower case. So whether the field can accept and remember small letters. So if it is enabled, then suppose if you have stored India, INDIA, it stays as in small letter, it will stay. If you have used small letter, it will stay in the same manner only. But if you have not enabled that, even if you are entering some text or something, suppose if you have entered India, INDIA in a small character, it will get autocast, it would get converted into uppercase. It is helpful when storing usernames, address or password when case matters a lot. And this is very much important for interview prospect. The interviewer does ask how it is getting automatically converted to uppercase, why it is not getting captured in the same manner as the user is inputting. Then the reason behind this is this enable feature in domain lowercase. Another important thing is value range. You can restrict input values using a fixed value, like a drop down option. You can specify any intervals, you can specify value table. So I'll show you how it is done basically. So in case of a value range, there is a fixed value option. In fixed value, you can suppose store IN for India, US for United States, UK for United Kingdom. Only values from this list will be accepted, and if you wanted to enter any other values apart from this, it will not capture basically. I'll show you all these things in practical. Now we will be moving on to practical, and I'll show you how to create a domain and where all these properties are mentioned. So in order to create a domain, we'll have to go to T-code SE11. This will open the ABAP dictionary screen, and there you can see there's an option called domain. We have to click this radio button, and you have to, in order to create a custom domain, you have to follow customer namespace, that is followed by prefix with Y or Z. So let us create a domain with country. So Z country, and click on create option. And the first mandatory thing is that you have to specify your sort description. Without sort description, you cannot move away. So guys, one thing to note over here is that the tick mark, you can see there are certain fields which are marked as checked. One is on sort description, another is on data element. So what it means, checked means these two information you have to feed in because they are mandatory. Without feeding this information, you cannot move on to the next screen, or you cannot fill in any other details. Like you can fill this information, but this is mandatory. So I can give something like a domain for country. Thereafter, once you have given a sort description, you can provide a data type. Remember data type, the type of data it is. So suppose we can give character. You can put char, or you may prefer the search help. You can click on the search help, and there are around 37 entries, like 37 data types are there. You can select any of this. So I have selected char directly, and here I have to specify number of character. So let me take the character as maybe 30. Length is 30, and since it is a text, so there would not be any decimal places. So I can make it blank, or I can specify 0. Better to make it blank only, there is no harm into it. Another thing is output length. I am not providing any information over there, as it is not mandatory, and it would get computed automatically, as I have told you in my previous slide. And there's another option called routine, which stands for conversion routine. So again, I am it is not mandatory, you can leave this blank. Okay. And there is something called sign for a negative. If you wanted to specify some negative values like minus 10,000, minus 100, so that is why it is used for sign. Another thing is for character. I can mark case sensitive. Like if I am storing some data in camel case, suppose what is a camel case is like India, I is capital and remaining DIA is small. Okay, this is what a camel case is. So if I am storing the data in the way which I want, it would get saved in the similar format. It will never get auto casted to capital like uppercase. It would not get translated to uppercase automatically. Okay, if you are unchecking it, if you are selecting this checkbox, it will get automatically converted to uppercase. But I don't want that. I wanted to make it like whatever data I would be inputting, it would reflect the same manner. So this is what case sensitive is. Okay. Now coming to next is acha, let us come to the first tab. So the properties, it provides information like who is the last change, what is the date, which package this domain is going to be stored, what is the language. So all those information are there. So from there, this properties information is useful to see like who has created this domain, or who has done the changes, basically in which package the domain is stored. In that auditing purpose, you can for audit purpose, this properties info is important. Anyway, we have completed the definition. So let's go to value range. Again, let me remind you that sort description and data type is mandatory, remaining all other properties are not mandatory. If you wanted to activate your domain over here, all you need to do is click on save button like the one I did. Click on local object. Since I don't want it to transport this in a TR to some other server, which is a separate concept, I am not going into that now. I would be saving this in a local object as of now. And once I click on save and click on this activate option, or you can press Ctrl F3 from your keyboard. Yes, it is activated. Even if I have not specified any value range, any intervals, or any value table, since these are optional. Anyway, let us specify some value range as well. So value range here is mentioned as single values. Like suppose when user will try to input some information from SS69 browser, some information, then I would restrict the user that the country that you are going to input, it is restricted to certain countries only. You are not allowed to enter any country as you want. Okay, suppose I am inputting, suppose IN for India. I am just marking a description. Description can be anything. It can be uppercase, lowercase, whatever. So US for USA, and maybe you can input any other country like UK, for United Kingdom. Okay, now click on save option, and again you have to activate. The moment you click on save, do remember it has turned inactive. Every time you click on save, it will, the domain will, or domain or any object will get inactive. You have to click on check and you have to click on activate again. So it is activated. Now what it does, domain, in domain you have specified data type, character. Okay, and remember guys, I have not supplied output length. It gets auto calculated and automatically populated over here. I have not specified output length over here, right? It gets automatically come up. And I have selected case sensitive. All this information I have given, the type of data, number of character, all these are the technical information. Again I am saying, in value range I am restricting, like user is allowed to enter only these three countries. It can be India, US and UK. If user wants to enter any other country apart from this, user will not be allowed to do that. From, so domain gives us the feasibility, like, or the feature, it is a very important feature of domain, like we can restrict entering any other data apart from this. And there is one interval option is all there as well. Suppose instead of country, if I'm making some salary, or maybe some other field, some date field, now here I can specify an upper limit and a lower limit followed by a short description. Then what happens, if you suppose, if the lower limit is specified as 1 and upper limit is specified as 50, and if I'm trying to input any value in my table, because anyway the domain is linked to a data element, okay, and the data element we will be saving it to a database table, okay, and when we will be inputting any value to the database table, okay, and for a particular field, suppose where I have selected the created the domain as a number, and where I have specified the lower limit as 1 and upper limit as 50, and I am trying to enter value as 52, then system will not allow, it would restrict me. This is the beauty guys. Okay, I'll show you that as well. How to do that. There is another very beautiful concept, which is a value table. I'll create another video on this. Just stay tuned for that. Anyway, as of now we have created the domain. Let us activate that. This is just the beginning. In part 2, we will go even deeper into data elements with practical example and real-time usage in custom development. So stay tuned, and I will see you in the next video only on Namaste SAP with data elements. Thank you.